Okay, so I had a request from a couple of you to do a video on how I do my nails with gel polish at home, so that's what I'm going to do today. And the first thing I'm going to do is show you how I prepare my cuticles before I do this, because you want to make sure that your cuticles are in good shape, push back, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to let you see my hands. I have a towel down to protect my table and a paper towel on top of that for a little extra absorbency, and also to cover the leg of my tripod. Here we go. I use this Sally Hansen Instant Cuticle Remover. Put a drop of that on each nail. Right at the cuticle. And then rub that in. You want to remove the cuticle from your nail. Cuticle is very sticky and it grows up your nail. You also want to make sure your tools are clean. So I have this cuticle pusher that I just got at Walmart, I think. And just use that to gently push back the cuticle that has grown onto the nail. I've never filmed my hands before, so I hope the angles aren't weird. If you see any little remnants of gray, I had a gray polish, just a regular, not gel polish on, from when I took the old polish off, just to keep my nails protected a little before I was ready to do this videoing. Then I'll come back with the pointed end and just gently go around each nail to remove any remaining loose cuticle. And then I guess this next part's a little controversial, so I'm going to leave it up to you whether you do it or not, but I tend to bite my cuticles if there is a loose part and I don't have access to a trimmer or a nail clipper, so it's in my best interest to actually trim away any loose bits of cuticle. Just don't go in too ham. And I probably should put a disclaimer in here, and this is as good a place as any. I am not a professional. I have no training. I am not telling you what you should do. I am merely providing demonstration on what I do to do my nails here at home. I probably am not in the camera very good. You can see I'm not digging too hard for things to trim here. I'm just lightly looking for places that they're sticking up that I will be tempted to bite them to fix it. Okay, I have already done the other hand before I turn the camera on, so I am going to now go wash my hands, and that's something very important. You're going to want to wash your hands. I like to use my Dawn dish soap to get all of the grease off of there. I'll be right back. Next, you're going to want to rough up the surface of your nail. It will help the base coat to adhere. And you're just using a fine emery board for that step. If you need to do any shaping or filing of your nails, you'll do it at this step as well. I kind of did that when I took off my last gel polish a couple days ago. Since then I've broken a couple, but I fixed those when I broke them, so I'm not going to have to do a whole lot of shaping. And yes, this does rough up your cuticles that you just worked so hard on. When we're done, I will put on a cuticle cream that will help that. When you have both hands filed, then you will want to brush off the dust and then use a dehydrator. I have one from ASP Prep and Clean Dehydrant. All of these products I got off of Amazon, and I will put links to them in the description box below. And you just brush this on. You don't have to be too particular with it. And what it's going to do is remove the oils from your nails and make sure that they are completely clean so that the gel polishes can stick. So a couple of things you're going to need. Obviously, you're going to need your polish, but you really want to make sure you have a decent base coat and top coat. You can find some really nice sets on Amazon that have a ton of polishes in them for not very much money. This set, I really like the colors that it came with, but the base coat and the top coat apparently are not very good because these don't stay on very well. However, if I use a different base coat and top coat, then I can use these cheaper polishes without sacrificing wear time. And this set that I got, this Abrit, A-I-B-R-I-T, actually has been a really good set for me. There are a ton of colors in here. It comes with 2 base coats, a matte top coat, and a glossy top coat. And I really only like the glossy top coat, but if matte your thing, then you can do that. The other thing you're going to have is an LED light. This one is from Bolison, and the light makes a big difference. When I initially started this, I bought a set that included a light, and the wattage was just not enough to set the nails, and it took forever to set them, and then they were still soft. This lamp has more watts. In fact, it has 2 watt settings. You can use a lower watt or a higher watt. Sometimes if you get them too hot, you will feel it. It will hurt, and you don't want that either. So I will put the specs. I can't remember the wattage on this one, but I'll put it down below what it is. So I'm only going to show one hand on camera, just so that this doesn't get enormously long. You want to make sure that you do a thin coat and that you don't get it on your cuticles. You want to be careful about that. And if you do get it on your cuticles, then take the time to stop and wipe it off. This is my non-dominant hand polishing my dominant hand, so it's a little shaky. It may be that you need something to brace your hand on, the hand that you're polishing. If you had something like that you could put your hand on, it would help to keep it steady. But this is my Bluetooth speaker, so I'm not going to use that. Anyway, I'm almost done here. And then wrap the end. And this one I got a little on the bottom of my finger when I touched it. So then you're going to turn on your light and put your hand in. My light is not big enough for both my hands. If you want to save time and you can afford it, then you could get a light that's big enough for both your hands at one time. I set this one for 60 seconds. So if you saw if you saw the light dim and go back up, this light has a selector that if it's too warm and you feel like it's irritating for you, you can go to the lower wattage, or you can click the button and hold it and it will go back up to the double power. So it doesn't bother me to have it on the higher power, so that's where I like to leave it because it takes less time to cure. It also has a slow heat mode so that it will build gradually. It will start off with a lower intensity and build, which is also a little bit helpful if you're sensitive to the ultraviolet light. Then you want to tap your nails together. Don't touch them with your fingers, but if it still feels tacky doing that, go in for another 30 seconds. I'm not even sure what color I want to use today, but for some reason I'm drawn to this green. So let's do that. Again, you want to do a thin coat. It's better to do 2 thin coats than 1 thick one as far as wearing time and durability. And you can see there, I got some on my skin, so I'm going to use my tool here and just wipe it off. The nice thing about gel polish is it does stay wet until you cure it, so if you need to go in and fix a spot where you missed, you can. And you're going to do a second coat, so if it isn't completely streak-free the first time, it's okay because you will cover it when you go back in. This would be a great color for Christmas. And I'm going to go ahead and cure this before I do the other hand so that I don't mess it up. I like to move my polishes away from the light, even though they're in opaque containers. I don't want to take the chance on drying them out. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but in my mind it's a thing. And now we go in with the second coat. And I make sure that I get the tip, but I don't like wrapping the tip with the color because I don't want the color underneath my nail. And back in the light for a minute. And finally we go in with the top coat. Again, we're going to just do a thin top coat. We don't need to glop it on there. And I will wrap the tip. It helps keep the tip from lifting. Back in the light. And then I tap them together to make sure they don't feel sticky. And there you have it. I'll put on a little cuticle oil and hand cream, and these are good to go for the next couple of weeks or until I get tired of the color. I do have a video filmed of taking off my gel polish, and I will get that one up just as soon as I can as well. So there you go. At home gel manicure in about half an hour or less. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video.